Hey there, fellow developers. Today we are diving into a game-changing approach for managing multiple Astro projects efficiently. If you have ever found yourself duplicating components across different Astro apps, you're in for a treat. In this video, we'll explore how to create a shared component library using Astro and NPM workspaces. This powerful combination allows you to maintain a single source of truth for your components, making development faster and more consistent across your projects. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you are working on two Astro apps. These apps have the same overall structure, similar section and layouts, but they differ in the themes and content. You find yourself copying and pasting components between projects, and any updates need to be manually synced. Sounds familiar? Here's where our solution comes in. We'll create a common app that houses all these shared components. Then, using NPM workspaces, we'll set up a system where both of our main apps can easily import and use these components. This approach not only reduces code duplication, but also makes maintenance a breeze. In this tutorial, we'll cover creating a common library for our shared components, setting up an NPM workspace for our multiple Astro projects, configure our Astro apps to use components from the shared library. By the end of this video, you will have a solid understanding of how to streamline your Astro development process, reduce code duplication, and improve overall project maintainability. Let's get started and revolutionize how you manage your Astro projects. Before we dive into creating our shared component library, let's take a look at our current setup. I have already created two Astro apps, both with a similar structure and sections, but with a different themes and content. Content for components passed via props from hero.md and feature.md files. This setup allows for easy customization of content without changing the component structure. However, we'll still duplicating our components code across projects. Now let's create another Astro app called Common, where we will move our shared components, starting with the hero and feature sections. Now that we have created our common library, let's clean it up and add our shared components. Here's what we need to do. First, navigate to the common folder we just created. Open the folder structure and locate the src directory. Inside src, you will see folder like layouts, pages, and components. We don't need layouts and pages for our shared component library, so go ahead and delete these folders. Next, open the components folder. You'll see a car.astro file here. We won't using this, so you can delete this as well. Now let's add our shared components. Go back to one of your main app folder and find the hero.astro file in its components folder. Copy this file and paste it into the components folder of your common library. Similarly, find the features and feature files. Copy these components and paste it into the components folder of your common library. After adding these components, we need to install any required libraries for these components. In my case, we'll need to install Astro icon. This step ensures that our shared components have all the necessary dependencies to function correctly in our main apps. Now that we have our common library and other apps set up in the site folder, let's configure an NPM workspace to manage our multiple Astro projects efficiently. This setup will allow us to work with all our projects as if they were a single repository. First, let's navigate to the parent directory of your site folder. Next, we'll initialize a new NPM project in this directory. Now open the package.json file in this directory and add the following workspaces field. This configuration tells npm that our workspace includes all projects in the sites directory, which contains both your main Astro apps and the common library. Now we need to update the package.json file in each of your main Astro apps to use the common library for each app in this site folder except the common folder. Add the following line in the dependencies section in their respective package.json files. This tells npm look for the common package in our workspace instead of trying to download it from the npm registry. To make it easier to import our shared components, we need to configure TypeScript paths in our main Astro apps. This setup allows us to use shorter and more intuitive import statements. Open the testconfig.json file in each of your main Astro apps and add the following configuration under the compiler options object. This configuration tells TypeScript to look for components in our common library when we use the components prefix in our import statements. It significantly simplifies our import process and makes our code more readable. With this setup, we can now import shared components in our apps like this. This approach not only makes our imports cleaner, but also provides better autocomplete and type checking in our IDE. Now that we have our shared components in the common library, we can remove the duplicate components from our main Astro apps. Now let's check browser. As we can see, in the browser everything works as perfect. By successfully removing the duplicate components and confirming that our apps are still functioning correctly, we have completed the setup of our shared component library using Astro and npm workspaces. This structure will make it much easier to maintain and update your components across multiple projects moving forward. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button to stay updated with more web development tips and tricks. Your support means a lot to us. For more in-depth articles, tutorials, and resources on Astro and other web technologies, don't forget to check our website. Thanks for watching and happy coding!